The night was electric. The lights of the AGT stage sparkled like stars, and the crowd roared in anticipation. Everyone was waiting for the next act, but no one had any idea that what they were about to witness would change everything. Backstage, a 19-year-old Filipino boy stood quietly, clutching his guitar close to his heart. His name was Angelo Cruz, a simple young man from a small town in the Philippines. He had grown up listening to the songs of Freddie Aguilar, especially Anak, the song that echoed through every street, every festival, every home. Angelo's father used to play it every evening as the sun dipped behind the coconut trees. That song became the heartbeat of Angelo's childhood. He grew up poor. His father was a tricycle driver. His mother sold homemade food in the local market. Life was never easy, but music was their family's escape. His father's guitar was old, cracked in some places, but to Angelo it was the most precious thing in the world. He taught himself to play by listening, repeating every note until it sounded right. And whenever he sang, people around him fell silent. There was something raw, something pure in his voice. It wasn't just singing. It was storytelling through melody. When he told his parents he wanted to audition for America's Got Talent, they were speechless. They didn't even know how they could afford the ticket. But Angelo never gave up. He joined local competitions, sang on the streets, and slowly saved enough to make his dream come true. His father pawned his tricycle to help pay for the trip. His mother sold her last pieces of jewelry. All their hopes rested on one performance. The stage manager called his name. Angelo took a deep breath and walked out. The judges looked at him curiously. Simon Cowell leaned forward with that familiar look of interest mixed with doubt. How could this young boy from so far away make an impact on one of the world's biggest stages? The crowd grew quiet. The music had not even started, but there was something about his presence, gentle but powerful, that made everyone focus. Simon asked him where he was from. Angelo said softly, "From the Philippines." His accent carried both humility and pride. He said he would sing his own rendition of a Filipino classic, a tribute to Freddie Aguilar, the man who inspired him to dream. Simon raised an eyebrow, knowing that Freddie Aguilar's Anak was one of the most emotionally powerful songs in the world. But could this young boy do it justice? Could he carry the weight of a legend? The guitar chords began. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't loud. It was soft, like a whisper from the heart. And then Angelo began to sing. His voice was angelic but strong. Every word carried a story. Every note carried a tear. The audience fell silent. It was as if the entire theater was holding its breath. Even Simon Cowell, who rarely shows emotions early in a performance, slowly leaned back in awe. Angelo's voice soared higher, reaching every corner of the stage, wrapping the hearts of everyone listening. People in the crowd began wiping their eyes. Some Filipinos in the audience held their flags close to their chests. They were hearing not just a song but a soul calling home. Halfway through the performance, something magical happened. The background screen behind Angelo lit up with images of Filipino landscapes, the rice terraces, the ocean waves, children running barefoot on dusty roads. He was not just singing a song. He was bringing his homeland to the world stage. Simon Cowell closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, you could see the glimmer of something rare, genuine emotion. How many performances have passed through that stage? Thousands. But very few could touch Simon like this one did. When Angelo hit the final note, holding it with such precision and emotion, the audience erupted. A full standing ovation. People shouted bravo. The judges stood, clapping, their faces glowing with admiration. Simon Cowell was the last to stand, but when he did, the entire room roared even louder. He walked to the mic and said, "I've heard many singers in my life. I've listened to the greatest voices. Freddie Aguilar is a legend. But tonight, young man, you gave us something that I will never forget. I can say this without hesitation, you are better. Not just because of your voice, but because of the soul behind it. You reminded the world why music is more than sound. It's emotion. It's love. It's home." The crowd went wild. Angelo's eyes filled with tears. He couldn't believe what he just heard. Simon Cowell, the man who rarely gives out compliments easily, had just compared him to Freddie Aguilar and said he was better. How could a boy from a small Philippine town reach this point? It was destiny. It was talent. It was the power of a dream that never died. Sofia Vergara clutched her heart and said she felt every single note. Heidi Klum said she had goosebumps all over her arms from the first line. Howie Mandel said this was what AGT was made for. And then Simon reached for the golden buzzer. The moment his hand touched it, the entire stage exploded with golden confetti. Angelo fell to his knees, crying, as the golden rain fell around him. The crowd screamed. The judges hugged. Simon walked up to him, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "You're not just a singer. You're a legend in the making." Back home in the Philippines, people watched the performance live online. Families gathered around old televisions, around mobile phones, in living rooms and public plazas. When they saw Simon press the golden buzzer, they screamed with pride. News stations started airing the clip. Overnight, Angelo became the nation's new hero. The boy who grew up singing under the stars was now standing on the world's biggest stage. Reporters rushed to interview his family. His father said with tears in his eyes that he always believed in his son. His mother said she had prayed for this day every night. Old friends remembered how Angelo used to sing barefoot near the marketplace, entertaining everyone with a smile. He never asked for anything. He only gave his voice to anyone who would listen. When the next round came, Angelo decided not to just sing. He decided to tell his story through song. He composed a piece that blended modern sound with traditional Filipino melodies. He called it, Bayan Ko, Pangarap Ko. The moment he stepped on stage, the world already knew who he was. He wasn't just another contestant anymore. He was the voice of a nation. As he began to sing the original song, he spoke about sacrifice, love for family, and hope for a better life. His voice cracked slightly as tears welled in his eyes, but that crack only made the performance more powerful. The judges were frozen. The audience was mesmerized. By the end of the song, Simon Cowell once again stood up, but this time he didn't just clap. He gave him a bow of respect, something he rarely does. Media outlets across the globe began calling Angelo the new legend of the Philippines. Headlines screamed, "The boy who revived Freddie Aguilar's spirit." Others called him the golden voice of the new generation. Music producers reached out. Concert invitations started coming in. But through it all, Angelo remained humble. He went back to his small town and visited the same streets where he grew up. He played the same guitar. He hugged his parents. He told everyone, "This is not my victory alone. This is for every Filipino who dares to dream." In the AGT finals, the world watched as Angelo took the stage one last time. No fancy lights, no giant props, just him, his guitar, and his voice. He sang a song that blended English and Filipino lyrics, a message of unity, love, and home. The audience cried, the judges cried, and when the final votes came in, Angelo was crowned the new champion of America's Got Talent. The confetti rained down once again. Simon Cowell walked to him, holding a microphone. He said, "I've been in this business for decades. I've seen superstars rise and fall. But what you have, Angelo, is something timeless. You are the new legend of the Philippines. Freddie Aguilar opened a door for the world to hear your country's soul, and you, my boy, you pushed it wide open." Angelo held the trophy, tears streaming down his face. The Philippine flag was wrapped around his shoulders. It wasn't just his win. It was the nation's win. And as he looked up at the ceiling, he whispered a quiet thank you to his father's old guitar, to his mother's prayers, to every struggle that made him who he was. Today, his songs are heard everywhere. From Manila to New York. From London to Dubai, every performance he gives carries the heart of the Philippines. And people remember that night Simon Cowell said something no one expected. "Better than Freddie Aguilar," and the world agreed. So if you're watching this right now, remember this story. Dreams do not belong only to those who are rich or famous. Dreams belong to anyone who dares to hold on when everything seems impossible. Angelo's story isn't just about music. It's about love, family, faith, and the power of never giving up. If you felt inspired by this story, if you felt chills when Simon said those legendary words, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Share this video to inspire someone who might be on the edge of giving up. Because you never know, one voice, one dream, one song can change the world. This was the story of a simple Filipino boy who became the new legend of his country. A boy who sang from the heart and reminded the world that legends are not born. They are made through dreams, courage, and love. And as Simon Cowell said, he didn't just sing a song. He created history. The lights dimmed, the crowd screamed, and a new chapter in music began.